What's up, y'all? Come on in.
Peace.
You got one? You only got one more in here?
You got you.
Hmm?
You want me to get on that one?
Oh, well. Here we go. Y'all come on in, y'all. Come on in. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. What is this? Come on in, y'all. Come on in. What is this? Come on in, y'all. Come on in. What is this?
Who's that? I'm ready.
What was what do you call it? Unknown call. Albert Thomas, 1953.
Peace, y'all. Yeah.
Everyone know that?
What's that? Let's see. Oh, he gone.
1953? I'm almost 70 years old. Well, y'all, let's talk about it again today, y'all. Hopefully, we put that one foot forward to nation building and to really get into the conversations that's actually going to support our people and help our people move forward. I think sometimes when we have these conversations, we have them with a lot of people who not even trying to bring forth change. You know, like we have them with a lot of people who not even trying to bring forth change. They just want to have a conversation. So when you're having a conversation with someone who's not really want to bring forth change, then it's like talking to a baby and a grown-up. You know, because a baby just what? Want to talk because it realizes it has a tongue, it has a mouth, the mouth makes a sound, and they what? Are intrigued by the sound that's coming from their own mouth. But an adult is speaking for a purpose. That's why they call Babylon baby talk. You just babbling. You're not talking with a purpose. You just like the sound of the words and how they come from your lips. You're not speaking for unity. You're not speaking for a nation. You're not speaking for multiple people. You're speaking for yourself. This is what, and see, this is a lot of the social media conversations. You got a few people that come on here, they really speaking for the people, they speaking for the betterment of the people, and they speaking for the movement of the people. Most of the people that's talking, they just talking because they like the sound that's coming from their mouth. This is why they're talking. That's not why we are talking, y'all. We speak for a nation of people. We speak for the movement of our people. We speak for the reestablishment of our people, the repatriation of our people. That's why we speak. Most of the people that's talking, they're not speaking for that. When you're dealing with the conscious community, it became a me. I'm a lover of self. I love myself. I don't have to tell myself I love myself. I don't have to do that. And if you have to do that, then speaking ain't for you. If you have to do that, then speaking ain't for you. Let it be for somebody else. But these are the conversations that we have, and sometimes it throws the message off. But like I say, hope we take this one step today to have a decent conversation, again, where we can move forward into nation building.
And y'all feel free to come up if you have questions on the movement, the title.
Don't be scared. We bite, we don't bark. We do bite now. We tripping. Now, what we tripping on? The truth? The truth got us tripping.
How y'all doing? Peace.
Peace.
I do have a few questions. Who are the people in the back? Like, is he supposed to be your family?
These are people that was part of the Solomon dynasty, the throne of David.
Okay. What is the movement about? I spoke to a few of your followers. I believe his name was Archangel Rock. He spoke to me a lot about certain things, but it was more about the Bible. What is the point? Like, what are we fighting for? What change are we looking forward to?
Well, we have a petition to judge the Roman Catholic Church for things that they stole during Tedros' second time in Ethiopia. So they came into Ethiopia and looted Ethiopia with the biblical manuscripts, artifacts. And this is where they stole the biblical manuscripts and created the Bible. That's how everybody has the Bible today. But they also added false deception with the information. So basically, we have a case against the Roman Catholic Church for the deception that they cause throughout the world, and for us to restore the throne of David that ended after Haile Selassie.
So is Yaju, he's basically facing the Pope?
Correct.
Okay.
The whole British Empire.
Whole British Empire. British Empire, including the royal family as well.
Okay. How do I play a part in this?
Well, we have a website right here. You can go check out the declaration, the petition, and we also have a contact. And then someone will get back to you about joining our WhatsApp group that we have every Monday. And that's where you can ask your questions as well and get more in tune with what we're doing.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you for letting me up.
No problem, sis.
Sound young. Okay, young folks getting that ear.
Yeah, go check out the website. Everything's on there.
Hello.
Peace.
How are you?
Hold on.
We are good. How are you?
Yes.
Yeah, what is your
Can you
question?
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, so it's okay. My question, I've been following you for the last several days since you started posting at least something about Ethiopia. And there are several people who comes up and ask you at least to adjust the title you are giving about your conversation, but still you are not willing to listen for most of them. The way I can see, you're adamant, you can't just want to listen to us. We know, it's about colonization. It is just, when you say the country is being colonized and the situation was different, but you are still insisting on that kind of statement. What is your basic argument when you say like that?
Well, colonization is information. Just like how the Europeans went into Africa and colonized other African countries with false religion, that's the same thing that they did with Ethiopia. So Ethiopia also was part of the slave trade that most people don't talk about. And the slave trade includes colonization.
Let me say, yes, there was a certain, yeah, there was a, certainly, there was a, what you call it, a slave trade within the country in most part of the, whether even small kingdoms in Chimaki, in a Bajifar kingdom, or whatever it is, or in the northern kingdoms. But I never heard people taken from Ethiopia as far as America and whatever. Maybe some slaves are taken to Middle East, to or minor Asia like Turkey and whatever. But I've never that the biggest slave trade which happened in 16th century to 18th century, which is taking Africans from the west part of Africa to America for those for purpose of plantation or something. I never heard of that kind of things which happening from Ethiopia. So how do you say there was a slave trade between?
So have you ever heard of the sub-Saharan slave trade or the Indian slave trade?
Yeah, the slave trade was just started around 16th century when the Western world looking for cheap labor or whatever, and people can work on their plantation on the new continent they found, which is called America. I know about that one.
And another important event in Ethiopia is when Haile Selassie abolished slavery in Ethiopia. Yeah. So if there was no slavery in Ethiopia or no colonization, why would a king in Ethiopia have to abolish slavery in the country most people say that is not colonized?
Yeah, that's a different case. A slave trade is something. It's a mode of system. The system that happened to be on that time. Every era it has got its own way of doing some sort of job or something. So people whenever slave trade has happened because they want some sort of labor, and whoever been defeated or the weaker one is always the one who is becoming the victim. I know within the country, within Ethiopia, there was some internal slave trade, but I never heard that things was just too big and has been happening as far as the way you claim that, as far as taking those slaves to America and whatever.
Yeah, a lot of Ethiopians went to America.
Matter of fact, I want to say this. Ethiopia was one of the first African countries to be a part of America peace treaty and treaties. Ethiopia was. So Ethiopia has been in cahoots with America many, many years. But why? Because many Ethiopians have came from Ethiopia and settled in America hundreds of years.
Yeah, if I'm not wrong, between King Menelik and the American envoys around 1906 or 04, they signed a diplomatic relationship. It doesn't mean that, and because of that, there are some people has going to the west to America and start living maybe. But we don't live in isolation. We have to interact with other countries, and that doesn't mean that we are involved in a situation whereby there's a situation in the country, a slave trade and whatever.
Well, you got to understand why Ethiopian royals came over here to see about the African Americans 3 times. No, the West Africans didn't come over here to see about their people. The Ethiopians came over here to see about their people. Why? But see, of course, you got to understand the colonizers control information. So they don't want Ethiopians to know that African Americans are Ethiopians. They don't want y'all to know that. Because if you
But
notice, this prove that this an open door for other questions that they don't want us to ask. Because when you ask too many questions, you find out the lie. When you don't ask questions and you accept just the information that you are given, you are accepting the lie. But see, when you ask the questions, that's when the lie get exposed. So we have been fed lies that stop us from asking questions. And now we have been taught that African Americans are only West Africans. That's the biggest lie ever been told. But this is stuff that have been forced on our people to make you accept the lie. Like, who taught us we was nobody over here told us we was African Americans. They never taught us we was African Americans. Never. I mean, West Africans. They just told us we was African Americans. People try to tell us we African Americans. People don't know where we come from? Because they wasn't on the slave ships and they wasn't the people who took us from the land. So we guessing where African Americans come from, but we don't know where African Americans come from. And when you do the historical research, which you would have to do your own research, you will find out that a lot of African Americans do come from Ethiopia, because this is where the first slaves came from, East Africa. And this is what the world don't really understand.
so, but the official record said that, I mean, any kind of record that's existing in the whatever it is in the West or whatever, those slaves most of are just taken from the West Africa or in the Central, I mean, whatever is from area from Angola as far as Senegal. That is what the record is saying that. But I never heard of people from from Horn Africa taken as a slave to America. I don't know where you're having that information.
How did the Ethiopian royals come over here in the early 1900s? They didn't come on a plane.
That's a different story. Let me add there. There was a Pan-African movement in America around 19th century.
Well, no, I'm talking about the African movement.
Just to enhance the moral and the struggle of the black people in America. And that thing has reached into the eyes of the royal, the ears of the royal in Ethiopia. And I think they have to give a moral support and whatever for those black people who are seeing only Africa black country. And that is the reality. That was the only black country in the whole continent, while everywhere is being colonized the white people. So the only African black nation not hearing the cries of those African Americans could be disaster for them. I think that is what maybe it might be inspired them to go and seek them, those black who are inspired by the independence of Ethiopia.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta think about. We're not saying Ethiopia been colonized since all the other Africans. We understand Ethiopia was the last country to be colonized. We understand Ethiopia was the last country for a lot of things to take place in. You see what I'm saying? Like, but you gotta think about it. The door been kicked down in Ethiopia since the 1800s. They've been kicking down doors. They've been unaliving leaders. So this colonized that has overtaken Ethiopia could exist this day. Now, if all the great leaders was not assassinated in Ethiopia, then Ethiopia might have would have stand its ground and never been colonized. But Ethiopia could not stand its ground because a lot of the leaders were being assassinated. But I want to ask you this: how did the Ethiopian royals get to America in the early 1900s? Because they didn't come by plane.
Yeah, I'm just trying to explain to you what happened by then about the Pan-African movement and whatever.
No, brother man. I want to get clarity here, because the Ethiopian royals did not leave West Africa to come to America. Let me say it again: the Ethiopian royals did not leave from the West to come to America. So the Ethiopian royals showed you that they had a route. You got bad background. You got to go on mute. You got bad background.
Okay.
Hold on. Because this is what the Ethiopian royals showed the world. They have a route from East Africa to America still to this day. They have a route. I'm going to say it one more time. They have a route from East Africa to America right now that nobody knows about. Because I want to know what route, I still want to know what route did they take. Because they came on ships. They didn't come on no plane. And they say they came to America 3 times. So what route did they take? And how long did they take? How long did it take for the Ethiopian royals to get over? Because they try to say East Africans or Africans left from West Africa. No, Africans left from East Africa. It's proven. That's why the Ethiopian royal was able to come over here. So they got a route. What is the route? This is why we know everything that went on. I'm not saying this, I'm talking about a majority of people. So what was the route the Ethiopian royals took? If we know the route the slaves went, what's the route the royals took to get to America? That's all I'm asking, brother man. What is the route? You got to come off mute. Or do you know the route that the Ethiopian royals took to come to America? Everybody know where the slaves went from. What route did the Ethiopian royals take?
Oh, you gotta unmute, brother man.
Cause we're in a time where I think you got to unmute, brother man. You got to unmute your mic.
Hello, sorry.
Did you hear the question?
Yeah, I've been hearing the question.
Do you know the answer?
No, I mean, in my opinion, I've already said my opinion, but I don't know what. Maybe if I have any different idea about that, but I have another.
No, I'm saying. So, do you know the answer? Or do you not? I'm asking. Do you know or do you not?
Let me say I don't know.
Okay, that's good. So, guess what? Else you don't know? You don't know how the slaves left Africa. They told us these things. They told us these things, brother. We don't know. We don't even know how Ethiopian royals got to America in the 1900s. So how we saying we know how slaves left in the 1600s? This is information that's been given to you by the colonizers. They put this stuff together. They gave us this information and they want you to know it. So what? You won't question the lies. This is why we have this up here. We have questioned the lies. We didn't believe the lie. We didn't believe nothing we was told. We did our own research. You know, we gathered the facts. We talked to people in their own lands, and they fact checked the things that we brought. So we just not coming up here as people who believe what we was told. If you believe what you was told, the lie was told to everybody. That's why when it comes to what everybody says, everybody talks about the lie. Everybody tell African Americans that we came from West Africa. Nobody talks about the East Africans that left East Africa to America. Nobody talks about that. Because if you do start talking about that, you would have to question the lie. And they never want us to do that. They never want us to question the lie. They want us to believe the lie. They want us to accept the lie. You know, so of course this is different information, but like we telling you, slaves left from Ethiopia came to America.
Here, let me ask you a question. Because of geographical location and whatever, we have somehow different feature or body structure, and majority of them, do they resemble East African or West African or Central Africa, those who are in America?
Oh well, who these people look like African Americans, brother. If anybody showed this background, people wouldn't say these Ethiopians. People would say these African Americans. But these are all Ethiopians.
As far as I know, you know, in Africa there is three kind of. In Africa, they say there are three kind of features. The northern parts, maybe they call themselves Arabs. The East African part, which is the mix between the rest of Africa and maybe the Middle East. and the Central and the West Africa and the Southern Africa, which are maybe the pure black race. So how can you just conclude that all or most of the black African Americans also are there in America come from East Africa, not from West Africa?
We're not saying all African Americans come from East Africa. That's why we are.
That's the point. That's my
That's
point.
why we are of the scattered. We are of the scattered. A lot of Ethiopians think that only African Americans came from West Africa. But this is why we have this title up there for them to understand that the slave trade also happened in Ethiopia as well. So
I know that let me tell you, there is a place just maybe 100 or maybe 120 kilometers. It is called Gindaberet. Gindaberet is the place where the slave trade used to be happen in Ethiopia. Before the slave trade is abolished. I'm not saying there was no slave trade in the country. Yeah, it was there. But now you are just saying that the African Americans, most of them, maybe they come from West Africa. So now that's my question. Can you say all of them or most of them? So the way you say, you are not saying all of them are come from.
We're not saying all. We never said all. We're just saying that there's some African Americans that come from East Africa.
Like Kenya is also part of East Africa.
That's understandable.
The Zulu tribe. The Zulu tribe.
For me, that one is understandable. Let me say I can understand that one. So my second point, there is now you're saying that you want to restore the monarchy, or you want to petition the monarchy should be restored.
Yep.
As far as I know, the monarchy is abolished in 1974. It's not that I'm not saying the monarchy was bad, like any other regime or whatever. They have bad side, they have positive side, or they have negative side. But once it's reached 1974, it happened. It become they are not able to go with the time. Still in 20th century, the country has got still living with some part of the country is under feudal system, which is not acceptable in the 20th. Oh, good.
Well, you gotta understand that during that time, Haile Selassie, was in cahoots with Queen Elizabeth, and after the throne ended after Haile Selassie, right? So during that time when they visit each other, Haile Selassie gave Queen Elizabeth the highest orders within the Salic-minded gift.
I think it was in Asmara, 1950 something, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, and they bowed
to each other. Yeah,
they bowed to each other with the compassion of understanding the great things that harnessed them together in the service of their people. So they were working with each other, and we all know that the British Empire was one of the biggest empires that colonized the whole of Africa. So why would a king in Ethiopia would be collaborating with a queen that's connected to the British Empire if they aren't a part of colonization?
So are you saying that I selected it intentionally?
Say it again, Haile Selassie, what?
Does he did that? That things intentionally.
Well, yeah, he did. Yeah, intentionally. Yeah, he wasn't tricked. He knew what he was doing. You see what I'm saying? So, like I say, like he even started dressing like the British army. This is showing you this is colonization. Like the stuff that Haile Selassie wore, that's not original Ethiopian garments that he had on. These is how the Ethiopian people dress. This is how the Ethiopian royals dress. You see what I'm saying? So Haile Selassie put a uniform on like the Britain soldiers. So this is showing you when he changed his clothes, this is colonization. This is not original Ethiopian history. The colonizers dress like that. So if the king of your country is dressing like the colonizers, what are you? What are the people? Colonized. You're not conquered. We're not saying Ethiopia is conquered, but we're saying you colonized because now you have adapted the stuff that comes from where? The colonizers. No emperor dressed like Haile Selassie. So this showing you, man, like when you're dealing with a mental colonization, that when your mind is affected, that trickles down to your physical. So this is why we say Ethiopia is colonized. It's not about just a mental colonization. You colonize if you don't have your information up here. So if you don't have the information up here, you are physically colonized. And go back to that picture. So you see Haile Selassie, what is he dressed in? British attire.
No, that's why, everything. I mean, that might be some sort of a culture.
This is how he used to. This is what he used to.
That's how I used to wear.
Yeah, that was the coronation. The coronation of Haile Selassie in 1930.
Even after that, he wasn't.
Hold on.
Which one?
Go back to that picture. You see the same thing that Prince Charles got?
Yeah.
The same.
Oh shoot.
The same thing that Prince Charles.
Right.
The same thing that they gave King Charles. Mm-hmm. Like I say, the British Empire have the Ethiopian throne. If you go watch the coronation right now, he got the same staff, the same glove, and the same ball. And they hold it in their coronation, and Ethiopia don't have one.
This is the same thing.
So if you go watch these things, bro, like this proves Ethiopia is ran by someone else, bro. Like it's not, and this is a secret to the Ethiopians. This is why the truth gonna hurt. But if you see these things on national TV, and now Ethiopia used to have it, but now Ethiopia don't have it, and Great Britain got it. Well, Haile Selassie went spent 5 years. Come on, man. Don't. It's like these things, man.
But you are seeing that this is sort of things he cannot just resist in the world. Like always culture change. Sometimes you have to accept whatever culture is just influencing you. That's not the issue.
But wait, hold on. But we come up here and we talk about Ethiopia's colonized, and Ethiopians tell us that they never changed their culture. They got the same traditions. You guys don't have the same tradition. That's why no one stepped on the throne after Haile Selassie. That's a tradition of Ethiopia, is the throne of David. But now you have a government that's the same as Americans' government, that's the same as UK's government. You don't see the difference?
And that's because of the colonizers.
But that's a kind of culture, it's a cultural thing. I mean, he might be adapting something different culture. Doesn't mean that that's a colonization.
No, see, British not colonized. That's what
why does the British Empire still have a king, but Ethiopia doesn't have a king? Matter of fact, there are people don't even want a king. Why is that?
Because in 1974, the monarchy is, I mean, it has been abolished because of the revolution, and the revolution happened because in the country there was some sort of riot and whatever, because because the monarchy was not able to change with the time. I think that's the fact as far as we know.
Well, brother, man, like we said, right now, the Bible prophecy is to restore the throne of David. I think out of everything we let you know, the Bible prophecy, not just us, it's Bible prophecy to restore the throne of David. So Ethiopians are not above Bible prophecy. You are not above that. So
let me ask you about the monarchy. About the monarchy, I mean, I'm not saying the monarchy was bad or good. I'm not on that argument, but there's some bad side of the monarchy. They are just people are relating it from some particular tribe the monarchy coming from, and in 21st century, how can just convince the majority of Ethiopians the monarchy is supposed to be the head of state?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we doing. Like that's what I'm saying. We telling you Bible prophecy is about the restoring of that. That's why the saints gonna judge the world and take the kingdom.
Yeah,
And
but
they gonna be the heads of state.
I think,
So
but the things in the
I
ground
just want to say
is
this.
different.
I just want to say this. So we want to talk about stuff that really don't matter. How the throne, how the Solomon dynasty got to Ethiopia. It was there in Ethiopia. That's what make Ethiopia great. So how it got there don't matter. It was there, and when it was destroyed, it was there. So where it's gonna be restored back at? Where it come from, which was Ethiopia. We
Do you have
have
an
many historical facts of people who sat
yeah?
on the
But
throne.
do you have an
Okay,
idea,
so
or do you have an
what?
do you have an idea or information? There are some people who still angry of that the monarchy. I mean the Solomon dynasty within from the country,
But when we talk about
because they
biblical,
say that
yeah,
I
but
just
hold on.
heard that.
When we talk about biblical prophecy, we understand like our kings, our forefathers did wrong. We're not saying that everybody that sat on the throne did good. We know that. We understand that.
The
Yeah, but
Bible says.
there are some people
That's why
see it with the
Ethiopia
tribal
is smaller
lens.
than it used to be. That's why Ethiopia is smaller than it used to be. So we understand the wrongs and the goods that happen, the pros and the cons. But we're talking about biblical prophecy when Christ is the one who comes restore the throne in righteousness. So it's the righteousness that's missing.
And that's
But
why I
how
talk
can you
about the
how can you convince that? I mean, you are aware in the country things are different now. I mean, there is a tribal tendency for everything, for politics, for economic situation, and
That's the
whatever.
whole thing about God.
And as far as we know, the Solomon dynasty is related with the from the north. I mean, from people of the north. And how can you convince the majority, which are not
Do you
the
believe in
part
God,
of
brother?
that?
Hey, do you believe in God?
Yeah, there's no one doesn't believe in God.
Okay, so you say so since you believe in God, you don't think God can come back and bring forth change? Do you believe that?
Now, change comes through people.
Brother man, that I'm asking you, I know how change come, but I'm asking you, if you believe in God, do you believe God can make a change?
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay then, so that's what we talking about. That's why we telling you this is Bible prophecy, and we are with God. So no matter what the conflict is, we gonna be able to solve it. That's all we saying. We know, brother man, God would not intervene if it wouldn't be much conflict. If there was an easy task, God would just leave it up to us. It would have been fixed. But we can't fix it. So God has intervened. And this is what we are sharing with you. God's prophecy. Like I don't know how people can't get that out their head. Like this is God's prophecy. This is not something. Oh, we woke up. Hey, baby, let's go save Ethiopia. No, this is God's will. This is God's prophecy. So none of the conflicts don't matter at this time. You know what matters is people listen to God. How did our forefathers reject God? By not listening to the prophets. So how you gonna reject God in these times? Not listening to the messengers God sent. That's all that's going on. And all we can go back is problem and problem and problem and problem. And we coming with solution and solution and solution. But we keep wanting to talk about the problem. It's meant the same tribal wars that y'all having in Ethiopia, we having them in America, brother. But a lot of Ethiopians can't see that because they've been colonized. But the same tribal wars that you have in Ethiopia and going on in other African countries is happening in America. So we're not dumb to it. We understand it. We actually know how to fix it. Resources. You know what create crime? The struggle. You know what create a beast? You don't have enough to eat. So what I gotta do? I gotta unalive to eat. I gotta cheat to eat. I gotta get over somebody to eat. But when you bring resources, everybody eat, and it's peace. So what we are bringing is resources. The same thing African Americans bring to America, we're gonna bring to what? Africa. Resources. People bring resources. So we must unify right now to fix our tribal wars. We know the problem,
Okay,
brother.
now you come to
And
the
that's what we up
point.
here for.
Now let me ask you. Let me just put something here. Most of African society is divided on a tribal lines, and if we see not only in Ethiopia, I mean, if you are aware of everywhere, whether in Nigeria or whatever, some tribal tendency. I mean, people they just accused of they are not from this part or from that part. Still, they are African. And if you follow some tweets or whatever from the West Africa, people are accusing the other tribe they are coming to their area or whatever. So how can you convince the entire Africa, leave alone Ethiopia?
Well, I want to ask you this: how many
Just
people in
to
Africa
avoid.
believe? How many people in Africa believe in Christ?
The majority who profess to be Christian, they believe in Jesus Christ.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, how many people in Africa believe in Christ?
Because it comes from the
That's the
West.
question. I'm saying, like, how many people in Africa believe there's a Christ? How many people believe in Christ in Africa? Just give me like an estimate, not an actual number, just an estimate. Like, is it 70%? Is it 80%? Is it 90%?
I mean, let me say 50% of Africans.
Okay, so if I can convince 50% of Africans about the truth, what would that do for the rest of the 50%?
Means?
So what we have right now, brother, we have the Christ on earth. We have the Son of David. We have the Menelik. We know where he's at. But he first must what? Suffer many things and then be raised to his glory. His glory is the throne that's in Ethiopia, which is what he's fighting for. The world don't know he's fighting for this because the world has been deceived with what? Colonization information. So the prophetic vision of the conquering lion, why is Christ a conquering lion? Because he in the sky looking down, or because he a son of man that has to conquer to get in this position? Which one sound better? Christ a son of man that conquers as a lion conquers to get in this position, or he gonna come riding on a cloud in the sky?
But the idea of the line of Judah itself is just some outside the idea. I mean, they say that the line of Judah started when Menelik the first start his reign in Ethiopia because he was the son of King Solomon. So some people put it that's also as a foreign idea.
Well, yeah, that's why I say, of course, that because it ain't happened yet. But you got some people who are eyewitness to what's happening. These are the testimonies, because the testimonies you getting right now, they ain't see it. So they telling you what they imagine. So when they talk about these things, it's correct. It is something to not take hold because nobody seen it. But now you have witnesses who testify to a Christ on earth, who testify to Melchizedek on earth.
But the line of Judah, I mean, the idea of the line of Judah comes from the Middle East, not from Ethiopia.
Brother, that's what...
Was the Middle East colonized by a European country?
No, the irony of that, the Middle East is the one who has just have, let me say, Abrahamic religion. No, the majority of world religion comes from the Middle East, of which the Abrahamic religion is the majority in the world. So,
but brother, you got to understand that the Roman Empire invaded Africa. Do you remember the Berlin Conference? The scattered of Africa.
But Christianity never started by then.
Hold on.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so you gotta understand
1884, the Berlin Conference, I remember.
Yeah, so they came in Africa and divided Africa. Before it wasn't those lines. They created those lines. Just like Ethiopia was bigger than how it is today. But they came in and invaded land where most of East Africans were together. You had the Zulu nation as well. So a lot of things were colonized and taken away from Ethiopia.
Yeah, the previous picture of
Brother, I
Africa
want to
was
ask you
shaped
this.
by the West, I know.
I want to ask you this. Do the Bible come from Ethiopia?
I never heard of that.
So who has
The
the
Bible
oldest
comes
Bible?
from. Huh?
So what does the older
No,
Bible come from?
the oldest Bible comes from Ethiopia, I know.
There it is.
They always say that.
There it is.
It's like crazy.
Brother man. If
No,
I got the oldest book,
no. When just follow me. Let me tell you one thing about that.
If I got the oldest book, then I got the first book. Let it marinate. Let it marinate. If I
Now
got the oldest book,
let me point you. Let me just say my idea about the first, because there's some information there. You are just. I mean, Ethiopians, they used to have whatever kind of relationship with the Middle East countries. Now we call it the Jewish state for a long time. And there is an exchange of religion and whatever scripture for a long time. Even before the Christ time, there was some practice of Judaism in the northern part of the country that existed. And by the time Christianity started spreading, if I'm not wrong, around 4th century, the man called Abuna Salama, he come and start preaching the people in the Aksum kingdom. And later on, the king himself sent him back to Egypt so that they can send him a pope. Then he was the one who come back and become a pope. And that's the point. But the point of the Bible is becoming the oldest, the complete Bible. There's something around, if I'm not wrong, 325, the Nicaea conference. After the Nicaea conference of the Roman, that was organized by the Roman Empire of 325, if I'm not wrong. Then they start expanding. They start removing some part of the Bible which is not compatible with the Western world philosophy and whatever. But Ethiopians, they have remained. They have left with the one they have before. But the Western part, the Roman Empire and whatever, they are excluding most of the Bible which existed in the some part of the Bible. So that's because Ethiopians are never removed those parts, but the Western part, the Roman Empire, they remove some of the part which is not compatible with their ideology, whatever.
Brother man. The first church was built in Ethiopia, bro. The first church of the world was built in Ethiopia, bro. This is why we say Ethiopians are colonized. You know why the oldest book comes from Ethiopia? Because the book comes from Ethiopia. The Ethiopia are the original biblical people, but they have been scattered all over the world.
But the Bible says the Bible is being printed by the Aramaic language, not any Ethiopian language. It has not been written in Ge'ez. A Bible is one of the languages that's translated from the Ge'ez or Hebrew.
We know the book was taken and translated. From
Aramaic or from Hebrew to.
Hold up, wait. I bet you right now, if you go to the Vatican and get the original scrolls, it's written in Ge'ez. And that's why Ethiopians don't speak Ge'ez, because that's the information that the original stuff is written in. So Ge'ez don't come from Israel.
Still, there are some people understand Ge'ez.
Okay, that's cool. It's only a few.
Yeah,
so,
for me,
brother, hear this part though. This is why we are telling you it's colonization, because you don't find Ge'ez in Israel. You don't find Ge'ez in Jerusalem. So Ethiopians don't even know the original biblical people are Ethiopians. Christ is an Ethiopian. The first paintings of Christ come from Ethiopia. So these are things that if you don't know as an Ethiopian, why? Because the colonizers have stripped you of your information and made you and told you lies.
At what time? At what point?
What? I won't ask you this.
Because you
Where?
see, you are saying no.
I
Let me just
want to ask you. I got a
no
question for
before
you,
you
bro.
ask.
Bro, I have a question. The Renaissance paintings, where did they come from?
Now that's a different story. The Renaissance story.
No, it ain't
The
different.
Renaissance.
No,
Let me.
brother,
No,
hold on.
the Renaissance
Stop.
Jesus.
Hold
No,
on. No,
let me
brother. Brother, man.
let me say it before you
No,
proceed.
brother, man. We sat up here and listened to you for about 3 minutes, bro. We didn't say nothing. We just let you spill for about 3 minutes about
Okay.
what you know. So now we have questions since you know so much. Now we got questions. And we want answers. I don't want another speech. I don't want another history lesson. I already know my history. You understand what I'm saying? So half of the stuff that people know, people have every Ethiopian have came up and damn near told us what you told us already. So we done heard the stories. Everybody have the same teaching. That's why the way is narrow. That's why you can't be of the world. But this is my original question. My original question to you. What was you know what made me forget?
The Jesus.
The Jesus.
You have been asking about the Jesus.
Where does the Renaissance paintings come from?
The Renaissance paint, for example, the Renaissance Jesus is not the real Jesus, as far as I know, because that is I don't know if I'm not remembering. It comes from Roma.
No. The Romans ain't paint a black Jesus, brother. The original paintings of Jesus, they black.
No, the white Jesus come from Rome.
No, I say the Renaissance black paintings that that's in the Vatican that Russia has.
As far as I know, as far as I know, let me proceed. As far as I know, the picture in Ethiopian Orthodox Church, in the ancient church, is not the white Jesus, it's a black Jesus. I know that one. If you see in most of the ancient church in the northern part of the country, I mean, the Jesus we are seeing on our church and whatever today and the Jesus of that time, it's not different. Maybe it might be the same resemblance, but not the white Jesus. I know that one.
No, well, brother man, of course, we all know Christ is a black man. That's why I say the original paintings of Christ come from Ethiopia. Matter of fact, at the siege of Magdala, when they took everything from Tedros, the siege of Magdala, they took Renaissance paintings. See, this is historical facts. Now, what Renaissance paintings did they take? They took them of Paul. They had Peter Renaissance paintings. They had Moses Renaissance paintings. No, they had Christ Renaissance paintings. In 1868, they got them from Ethiopia. This is facts, bro. Like, this is history that you have to know to validate where this stuff come from. The biblical people don't come from no damn Israel.
But the Renaissance Jesus is white, not black.
No. That's what they want you to believe.
I'm not saying they are right. But the one in picture, the picture is painted like so the Michelangelo and whatever is a white Jesus. It was been painting around at the time of.
But no, I'm talking about the one in the Vatican. I'm talking about the ones that they hide from the world. Of course, they show us the white Jesus. That's why Russia showed a black Jesus, which was a Renaissance painting.
Said so.
Yeah. Like Putin from Russia, the president of Russia, he showed the black Jesus, which was the ancient paintings of Christ that come from Ethiopia. You know, like these are Ethiopian paintings, brother. Like this is like I say, these are facts that most Ethiopians don't know. See, right now, these are Ethiopian paintings, brother.
Yeah, that was Hello.
Well, yeah, brother. But like I said, man, we definitely appreciate you coming up, brother. Check out our website, man. Like I say, we do have a movement to restore the throne, and I know that's something You know, you might not agree with, or you might agree with, but there's actually God prophecy, and then, you know, and those things got to be done on behalf of God and God Christ. It's not going to be the Christian Christ. It's going to be God Christ.
Okay, let's hope the best. But I think let us hope best for the country.
Well, that's what we're doing it for the country, man. We're doing it for the whole, and not just Ethiopia. It's for the whole African diaspora, and just for the world. So what we're
No,
doing is going to benefit a lot of people.
among the no, for the last 50, 60, or 70 years, the one who suffered in this continent or in this world, Ethiopians are the most, because for whatever reason it happens for us, things are not going well. It's going from worse to worse now. As you see, people are now literally becoming they don't like each other. I mean, I'm not saying people, but the political elite are trying to create a kind of situation in the country. The people of this country, they can't live together for forever. But if something that can unite us,
Now go ahead.
yes.
No, I was saying, go. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, if anything happens that can unite us, is, I mean, nobody can. I mean, I know the people, most of the people, is we live each other. It's not. If it is not for the people, this country could have gone to the dogs. But the people are very nice. The people are very good. They like each other more than anything. But the political elites are trying to create something very uneasy situation for the society. And if anything comes or if anything happens, that it might bring back our glory, our togetherness, or our whatever that existed before. I mean, it's a wish of everyone. We don't care whether it's a monarchy or the president or whatever.
Man.
What we wish for our country is the best, wherever it comes from.
And brother, man, that's the mind frame any human being have to have when you're having a conversation about change, because we're all looking at the world and we see we need change, and that's the humbleness that it's gonna take for us to bring forth this change. To not want to do something because I got a religion, or not to do something because I believe in something I can't see, but to actually do something that brings forth change for unity and peace. And if it's gonna bring unity and peace, then I must support that. You know, and like I say, so that's what we get with it, man. Like I say, that's what we actually bringing. We not, you know, at the end of time, it's a conversation, so it might get controversial, but at the same time,
Yeah, that's the point, because your things are, most of the time, the things are controversial. Even you're saying that the Bible, about the Bible, the origin of the Bible, but as far as we know, it happened to be, it comes from the Middle East and whatever. And they are saying that the Bible, the original Bible, comes from Ethiopia and whatever. It's a very different story. Maybe if there is anything you know more than us, I think it's time for you.
Understand that I'm speaking for God. That people don't understand that, because people believe God is in the sky. That's why Christ comes like a thief in the night. So I'm not saying I know something more than you because I'm more Ethiopian than you. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I have a greater plan because I'm doing this for God. That's why my plan, my foresight, my insight, my knowledge is greater than yours. Not because I'm more Ethiopian than you, or not because I know about Ethiopia more than you. Like, that's not my standpoint. I know what has to be done for us to unify and heal our people. So when you know these things, you are passionate, you are direct, and you do it with authority. Now, if I didn't know, I'd just humble myself and listen to people. But I still humble myself and listen to people, because I know that's what it's going to take for me to communicate with my brothers and sisters. But at the same time, because I clarify that I stand with God, I testify to Christ on earth. I don't testify to Christ in the sky. You see what I'm saying? So these things this is the standpoint that I'm standing on, and many brothers and sisters don't even get to that side of the point because of so much controversy or so much indoctrination to where they can't hold a conversation. I can hold a conversation with anybody because I'm for sure of what I'm doing is right. I can't be I'm not shooken by people when they come up here and talk to me any kind of way. And I know a lot of people not at that level yet, but that's why we host panels on the day end to hopefully break that barrier for us to get to the other side of what we got to do. Because like I say, we have a plan. We have people that's backing us up. We are connecting with people, and we're doing a lot of groundwork outside of TikTok that people know nothing about. And a lot of people just see us on TikTok talking. They don't see the groundwork that's behind this and all the stuff we and all the people we have in communication with, the people we have talked to, the stuff we have put out. You know, so and that's why I say we appreciate people like yourself who able to have a good conversation to really hopefully see the good and the better in this mission that we are presenting to our brothers and sisters, because at the end of the day, that's what we up here for. We up here to present our mission to our brothers and sisters to see where they fit in, to help us heal our people. See, so we up here present something to our people, you know, and it's a mission. It's not a religion. It's not a cult. It's not a trick. It's actually God's plan. We are presenting God's plan to heal the land. That's what we are at the end of the day. And like I say, it takes all kind of pieces that need to be put together so we can see this bigger picture. So we bring topics like this. This is a really missing piece to the puzzle that we are putting together so we can see the bigger picture. So this is only a piece of the puzzle when we talk about these things, but it's such a critical piece to make people see the bigger picture.
Okay, it's okay. Thank you for having me.
All right, peace, brother.
I appreciate you coming up, brother. And I think people got to understand that too. Like, we are presenting God's plan. Like, no matter what title we have up here, the title, we fishing right now. The title is the bait. You bite the bait. Hopefully we can reel you in and put you on God's ark. That's our standpoint. Our standpoint is not really just oh man, that's good. You know, we'll battle. We'll do challenges, but at the same time, our job is to reel you in and put you on God's ark. That's why we have a movement. Our ship is sailing. It ain't sinking, it's sailing. But you know, getting these fish to get on here, just like Noah's ark, it will be in the days of the Son of Man. So we trying to catch them few fish that's in this huge ocean that's going to what? Help us stay up afloat. And let's get all our people out these waters. And then we'll be able to cast a big net and we'll pull a whole bunch of people in. You know, but right now, these are just hooks. So you can bite the rod.
Give me 1 second.
You gotta be in America right there, boy. They got beasts like that in Ethiopia? They might, I don't know, they might have them kind of beasts in Ethiopia, y'all, you know.
Yeah, they got rappers over there too.
I know they got rappers, but I don't think they don't rap the beats like that. I think they got more instruments than they beat. Like I say, I could be wrong, you know. But that just ain't sound like no Ethiopian, you know. But if it was, you know, correct me if I'm wrong.
You hear me?
Yeah, you know.
Yes, sir. I've been waiting to get in this live for a while now. Appreciate you for putting me in. And by the way, that's American rap, so it wasn't an Ethiopian beat or anything. But yeah, I didn't get in here because I know I have a lot of knowledge or anything, but I wanted to point out some things that you guys were mentioning. There's nothing that I'm approved to you guys, because there was one guy that came in last week, a lady who came in with her husband, and then her husband joined in, and he was kind of giving you some information. So he was giving you good details about what colonization means. and you actually didn't know you did know the definition, but I'm just saying you didn't have to. You didn't pull out the definition of colonization beforehand, and when he kind of mentioned the definition of colonize, that's when you actually went on Google and tried to bring it up. So at that point, you was already like, I feel like the definition of colonized that you have and the world, what the world know of, is way different definition. So and also the colonization definition you're pulling out on Google, it doesn't. I would say more like Italy has more have colonized Ethiopia than British, because what British did was just have some influential thing on Ethiopia. That's all. But other than that, everything that talks on the definition, I don't see anything that relates to what British did to Ethiopia. And when it comes to your wife talking about how the Ethiopian doesn't have a king no more, or anything, I mean, Ethiopians don't want kings. What can we say? Like, no one forced us to say kill your kings or anything. We chose to kill them. And if we choose not to have kings, like, why is it a problem?
Hold on, brother man. What makes
Yes,
Ethiopia?
sir.
What makes Ethiopia glorious?
Ethiopia is just a created a nation in in the late 19th. So Ethiopia was never mentioned. Ethiopia didn't exist way back in the days. So we could.
So, brother man, when they had a Christian king that all the nations came to see about, where did they come see this Christian king at?
Probably somewhere in that area called Ethiopia now.
Correct. So Ethiopia had great kings in their land. That's what make Ethiopia great, brother. Without the kings that was in Ethiopia that did the things they did, Ethiopia don't have no greatness. Ethiopia not great because the people don't want a king. Ethiopia is great because the people always had a king. So you gotta understand, brother, your king right now is just your government. You just don't have a solid minded king. Hold on,
You say the British have. Okay, go ahead. You let me talk, so go ahead.
The Ethiopian king is the government right now. You just don't have a solid minded king. Your government run your country. Ethiopians don't have no say so. The people that overthrew Haile Selassie was an army. Everybody in Ethiopia wasn't a part of their army. That was a small group of people who was working for Great Britain, who overthrew Ethiopia. Who overthrew Haile Selassie. So the whole Ethiopia didn't come together and say they didn't want Haile Selassie.
Well, you gotta know who was actually the one who killed Haile Selassie. They wasn't working with no British or anything. They're a communist party that was supported by Russia and Cuba or something. So they didn't have anything to do with British. And obviously Haile Selassie was not doing any good to Ethiopia. He was, but I'm just saying, like I said, when I jumped into this conversation, I don't have knowledge of the past history of how the Bible was written, and Ethiopia was not mentioned in the Bible in the Old Testament at all. So, yeah, go ahead. There was no what you gonna tell me? Ethiopia was just created in the late 90 and stuff, when Menelik was the one.
Okay, so that proves Ethiopia was colonized.
When Menelik colonized other nation, other tribes, and then called it Ethiopia, Abyssinia, whatever. But before that,
hold up, because you're everywhere right now. So let's get a foundation. So are you saying Ethiopia is colonized, or are you saying it's not?
Ethiopia is not colonized. But if you go and say Ethiopia was colonized, it's better to say with Italy than British, because the definition was.
But brother, man, you can't hold up. You can't have a but. Either it's not or it is. So
okay, no, it wasn't colonized. That's my answer, right?
Okay, but you just said Menelik colonized some tribes, right? That's what you did. You said that. You say Menelik colonized some tribes, right?
Yeah.
So how can Menelik colonize is another nation taking care of you? You colonizing, you can't colonize your own people. Now,
yes, you can. Now your own people. Yes, you're right. You cannot colonize your own people. There's the north part of Ethiopia, and then they expanded it to the southern part.
Brother,
there are some people.
Menelik was a king of Ethiopia. He was on the throne, right? So if Menelik was giving away land in Ethiopia and slaves, Eritreans, right? Isn't that
Right?
part of a treaty with the other nations? That's not for that's not for Africa. That's to colonize Africa.
That's not a form. That's like just. I don't think that's colonization or anything. You selling slaves is not being. You're not being colonized. You're selling slaves for your own benefit. When Haile Selassie went to the British to ask them for help, yeah, you guys would mention that. Why would you go to a colony country? I mean, a country that colonizes you guys for help. Well, I work with anybody if I have to save my country.
But so you will work with the people who colonized the
Sure,
whole the
why
other
not?
parts of.
Why not?
Hold
Because they're
on,
not
hold on, hold on,
colonizing me.
hold on, bro.
They're
Because
not colonizing.
you're not even hearing yourself. You're gonna work with people who colonized the rest of Africa, your brothers and sisters, right? And work with them to get back your country when you really not getting back your country.
Because
They actually didn't come and
you
fight
have
the
to do
war with
work
us.
with them. You
They
have to
actually
do
didn't
some
come and
type of
fight
work
the
with
war
them.
with us. They funded us military equipments and stuff, and we fought the war ourselves. And
hey,
And
yes,
what did
we
you
will
give?
get.
And what did you give
Yes,
them?
we'll.
What for what you received? What did you give them?
they're
We
your
didn't
power.
get. Well, we didn't.
You gave them
We
your
didn't get
power.
colonized. We didn't get
They
colonized by them though. They had. They took.
yes, brother man.
They didn't have power in us. You telling
Brother, yes,
us?
brother man. You know, Ethiopia is a poor land. It shouldn't be poor, but it's poor because all their resources have been starved out. The British been doing this for years. Matter of fact, somebody, Ethiopian, read this book last night when I was on the panel. He read about how to colonize or how to control Ethiopia by taking its resources and keeping it poor and creating tribal conflict that they control. This is what the Ethiopian read to me, bro. So you have to understand this is a tactic that's done
But that's
behind
not
closed doors.
colonization, though.
You're
That's not
not, brother man.
colonization.
Hold on.
DR
That's
is
why,
actually Dominican. I mean,
brother man, hold on. Colonization is controlling the way you think. Why do you think they have a white Jesus in Ethiopia? The same reason
controlling
they
the
got a
way you
white.
think. Show me that definition. Controlling the way you think. That's not colonization. As settling, being owning that country, and having power over your people.
Hold up. If you control the way some people think, do you not have control over them?
But that's not colonization. No.
No, that's what I'm saying. To us, we showing you how they control Ethiopia, not by conquering you, but by creating leaders that they teach the
But
people
but
to
they're
control the people. Because hold up, bro, slow down. If you are teaching people certain information, they won't rise up because in their mind, nothing is going on. So they'll never get up because of the information they have. But once they get the correct information, they gonna do what? Get up. Because they no longer have the colonized mind. So it's the colonized mind that controls the physical body. So what we are telling you, Ethiopians and what's going on in Ethiopia is all because of the teachings and the information that you have.
well. If
Yo,
you're gonna say they woke up.
bro. I want to ask you this. Do
No,
you know
no.
anything about
If you say they woke up, well, I guess the Derg regime, the guy who killed Haile Selassie, woke up. Then I understand that the monarchy was kind of implanted on us, and then he killed him, and we don't want no like all that king shit, whatever. I mean, that's no, we don't. We don't. You're gonna say the government? I guess every government is a king. That even the kings and the British, they don't have no power and making decisions. They have money influence and power. Like they can influence the government. But other than that, they do not make any law. They do not make any decision on the if they have to go to war. Their kings are not the one who's going to say let's go to war. It's going to be the prime minister or anything. So obviously, the king stuff doesn't have any power in this world, in the modern world.
Go, brother. Hey,
You
so
know where
Haile
I'm
Selassie,
going with this, but
okay, so Haile Selassie ain't have no power when he was on the throne.
he did. Obviously, was nobody.
All right,
There's
then,
nobody under him.
Okay, so kings got power, brother. Hey, brother, man. Do you know how
Back then,
politics
yes.
work? Hold up, bro. Do
Back
you know
then,
how
yes.
politics work? Do you know how politics work?
Sure,
Because you
yeah,
thought okay. So if Haile Selassie had all the power, right? Because he was the king, right?
yeah.
Before he got overthrew, do you know all the things that he said when he was sitting down with the British royals? Do you know? Do you know all what was said?
I don't
You
know,
don't
but
know what was said.
he wasn't a
So
good king to us. He wasn't a good king for us.
hold
That's
up,
why
brother, man, hold up,
the man that used to work under him, the man that used to
slow
work under
down,
him, which
brother,
was
man, hold up, stop,
Mengistu
bro,
Haile Mariam. Because
bro, you're not
you
even.
like
Hold on,
I'm telling you this story.
brother, slow down, because you're not listening to the conversation, bro. Nobody is saying Haile Selassie was a good king. I'm having a conversation with you so you can understand the foundation that I'm standing on. So you can understand why Ethiopia is colonized. The people didn't have the power when Haile Selassie had the power. That's why the people overthrew him, because the power was in Haile Selassie's hands. So way before Haile Selassie got overthrown, he sat down with the British royals many times, and none of the people that had power was there. Haile Selassie was there. The people wasn't there. So the things that Haile Selassie did, the people know nothing about. That's why you ask the Ethiopians, what is the solid-minded gift that Haile Selassie gave to Great Britain in the 1950s? What is this gift that Haile Selassie gave over? None of the people that had power wasn't there. So they don't know what he handed over. They don't know what kind of power he handed over to the British Empire. The people in Ethiopia don't know. So the people in Ethiopia don't know they colonized because they don't know about stuff like this that happened behind closed doors.
Damn, the whole time I was talking, you muted me. Damn, my bad. But that's why they threw him though. That's what I'm saying. Like they do,
Hold up.
like
See, brother man, hold up.
the
Listen, brother man,
the
I'm not
people
trying to
that
argue.
works under him.
Hold up, no, hold up,
That's
stop.
not
I'm not trying to
argument.
argue with you. That's why you didn't hear nothing I said. You was talking the whole time I was talking. You didn't hear
No, no,
nothing I
no, no.
said.
Literally, I listened what you were saying. He was sitting down with the British people when nobody was around. Like the Ethiopian people was not around, who nobody knew what he was doing, right? That's
Correct.
why the people that worked under him, Mengistu Haile Mariam, he used to be his colonel, or his sergeant or something. That's why he threw him. They got together and then they said, okay, this guy not good for us, and he killed him. And I guess they woke up. You could say that. No?
But they woke up with no resources, bro. They had to depend.
Okay, well,
Hold
hey,
hold
everybody
on, brother
gives
man,
something to get something.
brother.
Everybody gives something to get something. That's what Haile
Okay,
Selassie did.
that's why
And don't
Ethiopia
get
is
me wrong.
colonized.
Don't get me wrong. I do not like Haile Selassie, but I do not I do not mind him going to British asking for help.
Well,
Yeah,
brother
because he
man,
has to. We was getting out.
why did all the other
Was
emperors, why did all the other emperors get unalive in battle, and Haile Selassie is the only one that ran?
He ran away because again, I do not like the way he ran away, but I guess he has a point to come back because
Well, guess what?
Italy
He
would have
ran away.
conquered, and Italy would have colonized, and then now you could have said, yeah, Ethiopia was colonized. You could have said that, but actually Italy settled for 5 years,
Conquering.
and they were actually killing everybody, the leaders, the warriors, and everybody. And I could name you history about that because that's a present where we know. I know that the older stuff, you know. That's why I don't say anything
Okay,
about the
but
Bible and stuff. But
but
the recent stuff, we do not.
if they are killing your leaders, they are killing your priests.
Unalive.
I'm unaliving your priests.
Italians did that, yes.
Okay, so once you don't have your leaders and you don't have anybody else that's gonna represent the people.
But Italian did that. So how does that relate to British having power?
If the Italians did that, that means that the Ethiopian people don't have the information that the priests
So you're
have.
telling me Italians and British
have.
were friends?
Yes.
Yes, the Ethiopian.
No, they were not friends.
Hold on. The Ethiopian leaders are working for the Romans, the British Empire. That's why they go. That's why they go to their schools and learn things from the Europeans and bring it back to the country. But you guys don't understand what's going on behind the closed doors, and they only feed you that you're not colonized, so you won't even recognize what's going on.
Look, you give to get something. Even now, Abiy Ahmed is giving a lot of things to get something. So every leader do this kind of stuff. It's like you guys making it like it's not obvious. Like everybody
No,
knows
brother
they
man, we
give
not.
something to get
It is
something.
obvious. That's why it is
Yeah,
obvious because people
yeah.
don't know about this.
That's why
But
we
yeah, we
talking
were
about
not
it.
going. We were not going to. We were not going to
Brother
let
man.
Italy run us through like
Hold on,
nothing.
brother
And they
man.
did
You
actually
gotta
for 5
understand this.
years.
You gotta understand this. Colonized people are nations that became weak. Let me say this again, brother, so I can say this, so this is sink in your head. All nations that ever been colonized, it's because they became weak. So when Ethiopia became weak and had to depend on Great Britain, they had to give up something, which
Yes,
is
they did.
what? Their original identity that makes Ethiopia great, which is their kingship, which is their wisdom that comes. That's why you think the Ark of the Covenant is in Ethiopia and not in Israel. They always say this because this is where the biblical people come from. So when you don't know these things, brother, because of colonizers, this is what we talking about. You know, so at the end of the day, brother man, all we telling you, the throne of David is Bible prophecy. The throne of David has only been in Ethiopia. There's no other proven land where the throne of David has been at. So what did Haile Selassie say in his garden? That David will still defeat Goliath in the 20th century because Haile Selassie understood the spiritual teachings of the writings. Every emperor does. That's the gift of the emperor. But that gift of understanding spiritual things was not given to Haile Selassie grandchildren who run the world. It was given to who? The British Empire. So right now, they have this gift. It was given to them. Ethiopians know nothing about this gift because Haile Selassie, the man who had the power, didn't give it to them. He gave it to the British royals. So right now, Christ is the prophecy for the solid-minded gift to come back to Ethiopia, which will also be the Ark of the Covenant, which will restore the throne of David, which will be the kingship because Christ is a king, brother. Christ is the king of kings, which returns back to Ethiopia. This is the prophecy that we are speaking from, and this is what nobody don't really know where we coming from. That's the angle we are coming from. Everything else is just the truth or the pieces to help you see the bigger picture that's about to take place. And Ethiopians ain't got no say-so when it come to God, brother. Trust me, Ethiopians ain't even got a chance. Y'all can't even get Bill Gates out your country. You damn sure ain't gonna be able to kick God out. So, you know, like this is when people gonna have to humble themselves. This is what it said the meek gonna inherit the earth. Not the those who puffed up and I'm an Ethiopian. Okay. We'll see when God get there. We'll see how far that
Hey,
Ethiopian talk get you.
hey man, I'm not disagreeing with most of the things that you're saying, but the whole thing I came to say is that you have the wording of colonization different, maybe just to get some attention, or I don't know. But obviously, you know damn well that colonization, even the meaning that you're putting up does not relate to British didn't doing something to Ethiopia.
We're gonna put it up. I want you to read it for us. I want you to read it for us and give us. I want to see your standpoint of it. Go
To
ahead.
establish control over occupation of foreign territory. They did not, which they didn't.
They,
Or people for the purpose of export. Yeah, what? Come on now.
wait. So the first part, they didn't. The Italians didn't occupy Ethiopia.
Wait, oh, but not British. Not British though. Unless you're going to say British and Italy are the same.
Is the Italians connected to the Roman Empire?
Well, change your words then. It's not British. You keep saying British colonized Ethiopia.
British is the head of everything, bro.
No, it's not. Okay, why would they help Ethiopia to defeat Italy?
Hold on, hold on. Do you have an Italian king or do you have a British king?
Well, it's not about. I don't know. I think it's
Well,
British. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it's
bro, you
British. It's
know.
British. Yeah, it's British.
Okay, so you don't have a so British is the head. That's all, brother man. That's why it's called the British Empire.
Well, when they came
England is
the
the part.
second round. look, when they
And
came,
all this, brother man, all these European nations are in cahoots with one another, brother. They all against Africa. You think the Berlin Conference just had Great Britain?
At
It
the
had
time.
Italy,
they were fighting
Berlin,
for land grab.
France.
They were fighting for every country. Even each
But
Okay,
country.
so they
they
came
came
together.
together.
They came together and had a conference, bro.
Yeah, but
And
the, it,
listen, brother. It was all European leaders, bro. They created an empire to take Africa. They came together to take Africa.
That's why it's an empire.
While right now we fighting amongst each other about what we gonna do to get it back. They came together what? To take it. So the whole time when they was coming together to take it, we was fighting each other in Africa. When the Berlin Conference was going on, we was still fighting each other in Africa. So this is the problem. We fighting each other. We have a plan again to unify. And I'm pretty sure you know this. You say you really don't agree with a lot of our stuff. So we just kind of having a conversation. But we have to snap our people back into reality check. So let's go back to the definition. Oh, because I want to get this understood, brother. Somebody can occupy your country by never coming in. You know what they're going to do? Let people come to their country, teach the people in their country, and send the people back to the land. It's called infiltrate, bro.
Agents.
It's called, so when you infiltrate something, you don't always got to just go over there and, it's my house now. No, I'm going to send my agents over there who are Ethiopians. They're going to be working for me.
Deception.
They ain't going to be working for the Ethiopians. You know, so like I say, these things, brother, we gotta understand. Like this is how stuff is colonized. So this is how Ethiopia is occupied by foreign territory, because that's why it's a lot of foreign money in Ethiopia. It's a lot of Chinese in Ethiopia, because these are the people that's bringing the resources that what occupy the land.
well, they doing it this. I mean, I guess we getting colonized again by Chinese, by all this other foreign country. Because that, I guess we gonna have to say every country is getting colonized. When
Brother, the crown is the head of state, brother. The crown is the head of state. Who has the crown? That's the head of state. What's up?
well, I just wanted to make some points, but I guess we just gonna have to agree to disagree. But I appreciate you for having me, guys, and thank you again. You guys have a good day.
All right. Peace, brother.
Mhm.
Yeah, go check out that petition. Go check out the declaration. Everything's on the website. Peace.
Hello, hi. So I have tweeted your video before here as well. Ethiopia is colonized. You mean currently or was colonized before? Which one is it?
I would say definitely now and more. You know, it was the power of Ethiopia was getting diminished once the British Empire invaded Tedros in 1868. And then that's when the British Empire got hands on the biblical scrolls that come from Ethiopia and gave out a false doctrine, such as Christ coming 2,000 years ago, which is religion. You know, religion is what divided Africa. Religion is what they used to colonize Africa. So Ethiopia is part of that.
But during the time of Tedros or the invasion of, the ruling of Tedros itself, the current Ethiopia did not even exist. The Ethiopia that we are talking about as of today, like the full Ethiopia, is completely established by Menelik. So that is what we are talking about is during Tedros, it was not even Ethiopia, it was not even Abyssinia, it was a certain part of the current Ethiopia, including the Eritrean side. So we are not really talking about real history if we are saying, oh, Ethiopia was it was colonized then. Yeah, there were a lot of invasions by the Portuguese, if you are saying that. There was a religion war by these Islams coming out of this Somalia, the now Somalia side, but there was really no colonization that colonized Ethiopia. And if we are talking about the Italians' occupation, that was also done but during the Haile Selassie time, like you said, and that was, after the Ethiopia now, in the form now, is established and was done. If we are going to talk about colonization within, there was a land expansion going on in Ethiopia within wars, but really I don't understand who colonized Ethiopia and where did this, like...
Well, I think you have to understand that like King Tedros was the king of kings. So there was other kings in different parts of Ethiopia, but he was the king of kings. So he was the head king. So these are the traditions that Ethiopia don't follow today. Even after Haile Selassie, the throne didn't continue. You guys have a government the same way as us in America, as people in the UK. So it's about the traditions, the original traditions, and also religion that wasn't really in Ethiopia. It was more about a king, who is Christ, which is a title. That's why when you go into Ethiopia, they have a statue of Tedros saying King of Kings. So once this throne was given to the British Empire, when Haile Selassie bestowed it on Queen Elizabeth, that's really where it fully diminished. You guys don't have that same power when it comes to the throne.
And you also got to understand, colonization is not conquering. Conquering you and colonization is two different things. And that's why colonization is more mind control.
Do you guys know that this throne or kings, these people are not actually related? Tedros and Haile Selassie are not related at all.
Yeah, but
That's why the throne is about a group of people, and the one from that group of people is gonna sit on the throne. Is not really just about being related. Like Tedros and Menelik not related.
No, none of them are related.
I know, that's why I say, so the throne was about having the majesty of God amongst the people. See, like that's why David's throne and the man that's gonna sit on David's throne, he's never gonna come from the sky. Now, the world knows Christ is gonna sit on David's throne, but they say Christ coming from the sky. That never happened. The Christ always coming from the people to sit on David's throne, to be a shepherd for the people. So they had this ancient prophecy about Christ returning from the captivity of the people to restore the throne of David. So right now, the biblical prophecy is actually taking place. But since the biblical prophecy was hijacked by the British Empire, they have changed the story. And now the throne of David don't exist and Christ is in the sky. When the throne exists,
But I mean, the claim that überhaupt at all this Haile Selassie is related to Solomon or so, this is just a claim that nobody, I mean, I don't know who said that, or the Ethiopians. Okay, I will just tell you one thing about this colonization and this kingdom. My grandmother was alive and well. She died at 107. So she was there during these wars. Most of Ethiopians did not even hear about the war. They didn't even know there was a war going on, because I'm just talking about the colonization, not the colonization, but sorry, I mix a little bit of German. But the occupation, this is even not known overall Ethiopia. And earlier I heard you say that, all the priests are dead. Really not all. The occupation was an occupation because it was into limited spaces, areas of Ethiopia. So now, can you please answer this question for me, and I will just go away. Who colonized Ethiopia, and where did you get, where is the source? Because now this is the bordering point for us. When we see that Ethiopia is colonized, we are all triggered and we're coming over here to watch.
You understand? Jesus Christ is the first colonization. So any nation that have accepted Jesus Christ is colonized. This is the proof it's colonized, because the same Jesus that Ethiopians believe in, we colonized over here as African Americans. And we believe in those same white Jesus the Ethiopians believe in. That's colonization. The Ethiopians didn't teach the world about white Jesus, the colonizers did. There go your proof. It's
Oh,
in the
okay. So
pudding.
this is not about being colonized by a foreign force, but this is about some spiritual power that you guys are talking about.
You got white
That is
Jesus
part
from
of
a
it.
foreign force. That the Jesus was forced on us by the foreigners, not by our own people. And that's how it. But Ethiopia has so much originality. It has so much things that come from Ethiopia. They starved out Ethiopia and they landlocked it. They took all Ethiopian ports away. They landlocked it and they starved it out and they unalived the leaders. But at the same time taking over the rest of Africa, but starving out Ethiopia. That's all they did. This was a military tactic of how they was gonna get rid of the ancient land and the glorious land of Africa, which is where the throne of David, which is God's gift, Solomon's gift, where it was located. They didn't want to go conquer that land because they're gonna make people come over there. They didn't want people to come to Ethiopia. They wanted people to stay far away from Ethiopia. So this is why they never came in and just literally conquered Ethiopia, because that'll make too much noise. They didn't want to make that noise. So they went all into other lands and simply starved Ethiopia out.
Okay. So my question is answered. Thank you so much. You can continue.
All right,
Peace.
peace. We gotta understand, y'all. They put a whole tactic together to do the things they did and what we are talking about.
And that was after they invaded Tedros. The Berlin Conference happened after Tedros was invaded. So they knew what they was doing.
After the scrolls was taken, after the artifacts was taken. So it's almost like they got their money first, and then they came together. They got their money first, and they came together. Because they had the money, they had the gold.
What is this?
We need to take a picture of that book and read it, so we can put it on the back. Because they need to read this. People need to,
Yeah.
we need to show this every video. Matter of fact, that's what I'm about to do, y'all.
Are you gonna show it?
I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna take a picture and I'm gonna read it right quick. Cause y'all need to see this, y'all. I thought I had took a picture of it already.
And people get mixed up with saying the Romans gave them Christianity. They just gave them a false ideology of Christianity. But Christianity started in Ethiopia. It was just not the Jesus Christ that they believe in today, where Christ comes 2,000 years ago and he comes out the sky. That's the false information that comes from the Romans.
Nobody who ever sat on the throne of David came out the sky. Nobody who ever sat on the throne of David came out the sky, y'all. I just sent it to you. Nobody who sat on the throne of David came out the sky, y'all.
It might be too big. You might have to. I just sent it to you. Oh no, I didn't send it to you.
It was 1 second, y'all. We finna share something right quick. Yeah. Damn, I want to read something right quick, y'all. One second, y'all. 1 second. Let me go.
I don't know why I got that thing there.
So I don't know, y'all might have to shrink your eyes a little bit, but I want to read something to y'all. It say, I'm gonna start at the top. The Magdala campaign was brilliant from a military point of view and a disaster from a political one. Volker Matthys' depiction is charmingly detailed, lively, colorful, and cleanly researched. The book reproductions of beautiful illustrations of historical drawings, prints, and photos are captivating. Africa Post. An early example and illustration of war. In 1867/68, a petty diplomatic dispute between Ethiopian Emperor Tedros II and Queen Victoria led to one of the strangest and most dramatic military campaign in history. The British Indian Army. The British Indian Army. So who the Indian was working for?
The British.
Who the Indians was working for? So why do you think Indians over here in America got so much hotels and so much gas stations? Who they been working for? So it says the British Indian Army with 60,000 men. Hold up, y'all. 60,000 men? And 30,000 elephants. Hold up, y'all. Hold up, y'all. Mules, horses, and heavy embedded journalists. So they even brought journalists along for this expedition.
Observators and translators.
Observers and translators. So they even brought translators with them, y'all. For what? To go get hostages? They were supposed to be going to get some hostages. They brought 60,000 men, 30,000 elephants, mules, horses, and heavy and a bevel of embedded journalists, observers, and translators, as well as artists, photographers, whose images of the campaign are reproduced in this book. So y'all, they had a plan. We talking about something where they had a plan, y'all. A plan. Why would they bring all these people? To get hostages? It take what? 60,000 men? 30,000 elephant, mules, and horses? Journalists? Pictures and all that? Come on, y'all. We don't know nothing about this war. We know nothing about the war. And it says, as well as artists and photographers whose images of the campaign are produced in this book, march into Ethiopian highlands, advancing on mountain fortress of Magdala to rescue a small group of European hostages. All these people to rescue a small group of European hostages. The campaign described by the British as the world's first major humanitarian invention. The campaign described by British as the world's first major humanitarian intervention saw the Emperor's army annihilated, the hostages freed, and Ethiopian treasures shipped to Britain's museums. But Ethiopian independence was retained. They love to throw that in there. But Ethiopian independence was retained. But why the goddamn treasures weren't retained? Yet, despite the tremendous significance in the history of Afro-European relations, military strategy, and journalism, the small war has received little attention outside of England and Ethiopia. It has received little attention outside of England and Ethiopia. So what do this sound like? Ethiopia and England secrets.
Victoria's Secret.
This sounds like Ethiopian and England secrets that has been hidden from the world. It say, here for the first time, Volker Matthews lays out the full story of Magdala campaign in thorough detail, reprinting and describing and discussing Ethiopia primary sources for a balanced account. This is the first time these things are being put out by an author named Volker Matthews. You know, so right now, y'all, we just have to understand these things, y'all. Let's be real, y'all. Nobody know about this war, and you see it's the British Empire. This is the movie 300, where the whole empire came against the emperor of Ethiopia, and they whitewashed it. And you don't know nothing about 300 because why? You don't know your history. And 300 was based off true events. Let me say it again. The movie 300 was based off true events. We might need to sue them. We might need to sue them. We got a lot of lawsuits, y'all. We got a lot of lawsuits coming. Because y'all love that movie 300, but that's about a black king from Ethiopia. What's going on, brother? Peace.
Peace, man. Hi, yeah. Just quickly, I'll just say that I'm British, Jamaican British, and I'm the first generation. And yes, the crown run everything, but just in relation to Ethiopia, you only have to look at when the Italians landed. Where did Selassie run off to? I mean, that alone tells you the British was in control and always were. You know, they're very clever, the British. I'm British born, so I get all the information from here, and they're very, very clever. They're in America. I mean, they run America, but the Americans just don't know that. It's the crown. The crown owns so much of the land in this world that they claim, and people just are oblivious to it. The crown are the most powerful crowd in the world, and we need to bring them down, and it's knowledge that's going to do that. But thanks for letting me say my piece.
All right, brother. Appreciate that. Peace. And man, what Lauren Hill say? It could all be so simple, but they rather make it hard. Man, we make this so hard, y'all. Like, brother, man, y'all just oblivious to what the power of the crown holds. Now Ethiopia don't even want that power in Ethiopia because they don't know the power the crown holds because the colonizer, you've been colonized. You saying you don't want the crown to come back to Ethiopia, but you want Ethiopia to have all the glory. You want Ethiopia to have all the glory, but you don't want the crown to come back. Which is the reason why Ethiopia even got glory. Why you think the British Empire got glory? Because the crown there. If the crown wasn't there, they wouldn't have the glory. Because the African king was in East Africa. The Christian king, that everybody wanted to see, was in East Africa.
Hello.
Peace, peace.
What's up? Peace, bro.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah. My name is Philemon and I'm from Ethiopia. I'm a history graduate. So I was actually listening to you guys. It's been a couple of lives now. So I basically know what you guys are talking about. I understand where you're coming from. I just don't understand, like, what's the guy's point? Like, let's say we were shadow colonized. You understand? Like, the British are like the the man before me said. Sorry. Like the guy before me said, they are really tactical and brilliant when it comes to manipulating and colonizing, or like taking whatever they want for themselves. You understand? In the case of Tedros, you read about refugee. You read about why the British Indian Army came to Ethiopia because of some journalists that were captured. Yeah. There's a prehistory to that, prelude to that. So basically, it's like there was this there was this guy that came to Ethiopia to find out the origin of the Nile. Yeah.
Okay.
Like the British.
You say I gotta come to Ethiopia to get the original? Say it again. What you have said?
Yeah, he came to find the origin of the Nile, like the Blue Nile, the Abai. Yeah, and he was like a spy. That's why he was one of the 12. Like his entourage was the one that was captured. That was the prelude to the British and the Ethiopian war, like the Magdala war. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah,
and like you said,
I heard about that. That he was betrayed by a British spy.
Yeah, it's like, and then, yeah, they stole many books. They stole a lot of artifacts. You understand?
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, 30,000 animals.
Yeah,
like you don't come with
30,000 elephants,
people.
bro.
Yeah, like I'm saying,
Yeah, 30,000 elephants.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, you don't come with 60,000 men to come get 4 hostages.
Yeah, I know. Like we know, every Ethiopian knows. After Magdala was lost, we lost more than a prince, more than artifacts, more than books. We lost history. We lost a monarch. You understand? We know this.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Well, Ethiopians act like they don't know that. Every Ethiopian don't know that.
We do know that.
The smart Ethiopians know that. Ethiopians don't say that, bro. Because
dude, I'm telling you, I live in Ethiopia. I've been here all my life. I'm telling you this. And one more thing, I'm sorry, like I actually wanted to correct you. You said we believe in white Jesus. Yeah, I heard you say like we believe we were indoctrinated to believe in the white Jesus. Yeah, I actually want to tell you that that's wrong. All our paintings, like from 2,000 years back, all our books, everything depicts a black Jesus, a black archangel, a black Mary. You understand me?
Bro. But they changing it.
Look,
they changing it
I
now.
understand.
They changing it
Yeah,
now.
yeah, of course. This past 10 years, this past 20 years. Hello.
Well, I was saying that's why if you go to church, Ethiopian churches in America, they got a white Jesus everywhere. Matter of fact, even Ethiopians
Dude,
tell us.
that's like, yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
it's
Like
been
even
it's been like it's like globalization. You can actually depict that to globalization, not colonization. You understand me? Look, everybody knows, like this generation knows a white Jesus. Like the only country like that like actually like when you go deep into it that knows that Jesus is black is Ethiopia only. Like I can actually say that like 100%. Like the only country that believes in black Jesus way before like anybody said there was black Jesus, it was Ethiopia because it was in our it was in our paintings. If you go to any church in Ethiopia,
brother,
you don't see white like you don't like if there's 10 paintings you
but
there
brother,
the 8 of them are like black like depicted paintings.
that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like the people, like I told the brother, the original black paintings of Ethiopia come from. The original black paintings of Christ, they come from Ethiopia. So I know these things. I'm not negating that. That's why I'm telling you Ethiopia is colonized because what? Now they believe in white Jesus. Like no Ethiopian should be believing in a white Jesus because that's where the original black paintings of Christ come from. So why am I
That's
leaving in
true.
Ethiopia believing in a white Jesus? Because of colonization. Like now, like I say, what we have found out, Ethiopians think colonization means somebody has conquered you. No, colonization means somebody has changed your mind and made you believe the things they wanted you to believe. That's what colonization is.
I understand that, like specifically these past 2 generations, after the like you said, after the monarch was like the monarchy was like ended. Yeah, like most of it, like most of the people like here, like they don't have fear of God because the monarch was interconnected with with the church. So like if you oppose the church, you oppose the monarch. If you oppose the monarch, like you oppose the church. So when the government was changed, like they opposed the monarch, so they opposed the religion, the church as well. So they had to suppress the the power the church had so they can they can control the country. You understand me? The change came after that. Our history, like our culture, got depleted after that. You understand me? Yeah, I understand you. This generation, literally, this generation specifically. If we go after for the next generation, we wouldn't know anything. Like girls is the only we can church girls has a lot of secrets. The only place you can learn girls is church. You understand me? If we could do that, I think we would actually change a lot. Not just for ourselves, like as an Ethiopians, you understand? Like if we were capable of understanding our own power, like Africa was called Ethiopia at some point. I don't know if you know this. You understand me? The whole
Yeah.
Africa is Ethiopia in a sense. We are black. We come from Cam. Like our ancestor is one. You understand me?
Well, yeah,
So
that's why
like
I say,
if
man,
we
like right
are
now,
able
that's why
to,
it's about unifying. Like we on here to unify our brothers because we recognize our power. We understand our power and we trying to take our power back. But that's gonna take us to unify to do those things. So that's why we have titles like this because people who understand this, they gonna be able to work together. If you don't understand this title, you can't work with the chosen ones because you're gonna be like. That's why I say the truth set us free. What's holding us back is the lies. The truth set us free from the lies so we can build and bring peace to our people and unify Africa. The African Union is in Ethiopia for a reason because the throne of David is in
okay.
Ethiopia. So by
Yeah,
this
I feel
African
that.
Union being in Ethiopia and the throne get restored in Ethiopia, now Africa has a king. Now Africa have guidelines and rules that the rest of the government have to follow. So the governments in Africa won't be following the British king, because right now the whole African continent is paying homage to the British king. So now it's time for Africa to pay homage to the African king that's walking the earth. But he's a
Yeah.
conquering lion, as the scriptures tell you. He's not coming from the sky like the colonizers told us. And see, this is the conversation that nobody is really talking about. The African king that's walking the earth, that the African empire is going to have to pay homage to, just like they pay homage to the British king that they trying to kick out now because they realize they're not doing no good. So that's all
Yeah,
we're doing. And this throne gonna restore our pride and our dignity back, which we
I
don't
believe
have.
that.
It's
I
gonna
believe
give us
that
a backbone.
100%. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's gonna give us that royalty and that sense of love to want to do something for your land, to want to grow stuff on your land, to want to take care of your land. When this
Exactly.
crowd is
Unify
happy,
and
fall
have
back to
peace.
Africa.
Yeah. Like, actually, I believe in that. Like, actually, not just believe in that. I really hope for that. You understand? Like, we are scattered people. Like, we need to unify. Like, in a more deep end. Like, you wanna safe kind of way. You understand? Like, the unification only comes from, like, you wanna believing in one strong thing. Like, that is God for me. You understand? And if
Right.
God has a plan for us to actually go through this, I'm telling you, brother, like, the things that are happening in here in Ethiopia, like, we understand everything is going that's going on. You understand? Like, they're trying to attack us where, like, our religion is, where our beliefs are, and it's
Yeah.
really, yeah, people are about, like, it's about time that we actually, like, brighten our, I don't know, like, stand up, I guess.
Well, yeah, I say it's really about gathering the leaders. Like the people are not going to take a stand. It's the leaders that must come together. That's why leaders have different understanding than people. That's what makes you a leader. You have a different understanding than people. You know, so by you having that, you able to walk with other people who are not a part of the world. That's why the Bible say, "Don't be of the world, come out of the world." So your understanding can't be like the rest of the world. It really has to be set apart. You have to have a set apart understanding to get with other leaders and walk together and to bring forth change. So right now the throne of David is finna be established, y'all, and nobody can stop it. Nobody can stop it. We gotta get off. We gotta build that.
So y'all go check out the petition, the declaration. It's in Amharic as well. So y'all go spread the information, let other people know what we're doing. This is to restore Africa, not just Ethiopia, but to restore the whole of Africa by this throne of David that the British Empire mimics today, and to also restore and return the Ethiopian treasures that the British Empire stole from Ethiopia in 1868 by Tedros II. We appreciate all the guests that came up. I don't know if you have anything else to say.
Well, y'all got it, y'all. You got the website, We Nation Building. You know what it is. It ain't no secret, y'all. We told you the plan. If you rock your boat, get with it. Get on the ship, y'all. Peace, peace.